Greetings and salutations. Let me turn the volume down a little bit. I noticed on my some of my videos, the volume seemed like it was a little loud, a little excessive, so I'm gonna turn it down. And I think what was causing some of that was a driver update because I don't try to mess with the audio on my settings too often. I try to that way there's a consistency through the video recording, but I've been encountering that, and then also I've been encountering some really weird frame rate chop, and sometimes I don't realize that it's doing it because I might make 4 videos back to back, and then on one video, uh, it starts chopping, and I think what's causing it is if I play a video and then the next video I record after I played a video, it's choppy. And so there's something I don't know. It's either like it's occupied, the driver's occupied by um, that video player driver is occupied by the video that I don't know. I don't know. But there's some weird kind of song and dance that I have to go through to to keep videos. So I have to close everything out and then restart the application, and then it's fine and it's not choppy. The problem is I didn't realize the really good video that I just recorded was super choppy and it's a waste. Like I did a video on a POI that was epic. It was like the Lax Action Hero or just amazing. And I went to go play it and it was choppy. The whole thing was choppy. And so I have to. It's something I got to be cognizant of. I run a pure AMD machine. I got a 3900X CPU, and then I run the Vega 7 GPU, and that might be some of the issue is the fact that with unfortunately AMD, even though the hardware is good, the driver support is always not optimized the way that it should be. So this is going to be a video on the Mule, and I've been putting out different versions, and I'll kind of go through a summary or a synopsis or a condensed kind of talking points. And so I've as one of the things as I do with some of these is I've added LCDs for landing pads in the back, so that way when you fly in and you stop and you land, and I've done it on the top as well. And so part of the reason why when you look at there's like 5 mules is because as you look in the sequence, the first 2 numbers is going to be the CPU, okay, and then the second 2 numbers is going to be the class. And so if you see a mule and it's a husk, that means there's nothing in it. If you see a mule and it's got a T2, and then let's say it's T2 C3, that means it's a T2 CPU with a class 3. And then if whatever's after that, let's say it's a 4 or 5, the later it is in the progression means that there's been continuous alterations. But I didn't want to abandon the previous. Like it was still a good configuration, but it's not. It's because of my gameplay, I've modified it and just kind of continued to move down the line, and maybe add LCDs, maybe because one of the things that I've been figuring out lately, for example, as I play through, is I've been adding more thrusters. A big proponent of what I've been doing is I've gotten on some of these planets, and I'm starting to realize that I started docking the miner actually to the side of the ship. We've been playing around in the. I know this is dark on the recording, but we've been playing around a lot with um, connexes or C boxes. But I started adding more thrusters to the back of this, and I've added so like this will still be the mule, but what I'm realizing is I'm gonna run all 5 thrusters on the back of this because I need them. I didn't think that I would need them, but as I have 2 miners, and each one of those miners has 100, 320,000, and then my internal storage is getting close to that. First one's close to the 320. I haven't touched the second one yet. I don't need it in space, but to get off the planet, I need it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of continuously creep on the naming nomenclature, and what I do is I got the 4 thrusters on the bottom, and I typically use 2 to get off the planet. But when I have all those miners on here that are maxed out in weight, I'm gonna add 2 more too. I'm gonna add 2 more, and then I'm gonna load them on a separate circuit for heavy lift. And so when the heavy lift hits, what it's going to do is it'll fire up the extra 2 thrusters in the back, and then ultimately it'll fire up an extra 6, so for a total of 8 on the bottom. And the beauty of this is if I want more than 8, I can do more than 8. I can string the whole bottom with thrusters if I need to, and give myself a exponential load on thrust, thrust. But one of the things though, I'm realizing since I spend more and more time in space, another thing that I've come to realize is that the materials that I'm gathering, like I like the 30mm projectile turret, but what I'm realizing is that it's better for me to run the laser turrets. Like, so I switched over to the front on the laser turrets already, and oh, did I not do that one? I thought maybe I just did this one over on the right. Is that what I did? Yeah, I just did the one over here on the right. And what I realized is because I'm in space and I'm harvesting asteroids, that my resources and my ammunition is easier to obtain than if I was on the planet, because planet gathering and resources is kind of more facilitated for shale-based type weapons. And when you're in space and you're mining pendaxin and all these other components, your electric weapons, your laser weapons are easier to come by. So it's out. So that's going to be another change, right? So if I let me see if I go into P here and see what version this is. Device. Okay, it says T3 C32. I thought I had a higher version than this. I thought I was on 4 already, but I guess not. But so this one's, once I change out those lasers, it's probably, I might call it 3L for laser 3, and and I've also made some more modifications to through the playthrough. Having some discussions. One of the thing that I've come to realize is on the miner, is because several times I've gotten out of the miner and was in a rush to get out of there and had forgotten to turn off my thrusters. Well, now I've been working with the logic, and so what I'll do is I come inside on the miner, I hit P, I get inside of it, and then I hit P again. I'm sorry, I hit F, and then come to main, turn my thrusters on, right? And now I can. Hold on, did I turn? That was lights. I'm retarded. Lights. I gotta turn lights on. Thrusters on. Okay, right. And I'll hit Alt, so that way you can see here what. And I love this miner. This miner, this space miner, is so efficient. Okay, let me turn around. Okay, man, the sun is blinging over on this side of the galaxy. So let me get right. I always try to park it. What's really weird, is that when I have the LCD screen on here, but when for whatever reason CVs don't recognize. See how it landed? But what it did is it auto turned off the thrusters. So let me show you this again. I'll hit P for thrusters, right? I'll take off. Now I'm flying. And then when I land, boom, thrusters automatically go off. And so what I did is I just attached all the thrusters to the landing gear, and when the landing gears comes out, it automatically pulls the it pulls off the thrusters. And so that's half the solution. I tried to get it to where when I maybe I can play with it some more, and when I sit in the seat, it kicks on the thrusters, and when I land it, it kicks off the thrusters. maybe that's the solution. But I'm working through it. I'm still trying to refine it to where I automate as much as possible to try to keep those thrusters off, except when I'm driving it, so that way I reduce the consumption in fuel as much as possible, because the fuel consumption is a real struggle. That is by far the biggest challenge. And so, because I've automated the fuel turn off, and the doors automated, there's a lot of automation in this little space miner. And you can see right here where I've added the kind of like your hallway signs, your industrial hallway signs to the back of the ship. And I got this thing to where if I shut everything down, and I'm playing on an official server, so it's I set up my bases and my offline time in PvE servers. And like if I hit P, I'm back on the ship. I hit P. Um, you'll see here where I go to statistics, and it'll say my offline time, power left 3 hours. But if I completely fill it up, I'll get about 26 hours of offline time. So my crops will sustain for 26 hours. And so, it's important to manage that. I think I'm going to increase my fuel capacity a little bit more, or maybe even segue some of the oxygen, like pull out some of the oxygen tanks and maybe even move those over to fuel tanks, because, or at least upgrade. Oh, I see I messed up. I forgot to switch my, no, I'm still in my inventory. Go to fridge, link. There we go. Move this over. And then I want to get to where I'm making rations. And, it's the crop thing is such a, and and I need to make a version where I pull out all the crops and I just put the scaffolding in here as well, so this thing can be recreated relatively pretty quickly, because there definitely is get grow what it for grow plots are not expensive, but they are a huge pain in the butt for the refinement practice. There's like 4 steps that need to take place in refining grow plots. They're probably one of the more complex processes in growing, and because you have to make the nitroglycerin. Okay, so you got to make the water. You got to get the water concentrate. So you got to make the water, and that's like its own thing, right? You got to have a separate machine for that, and then you got to do the nitroglycerin, which eats up your water. But then you got to have fertilizer or decayed food or whatever it is, and that's its own process. And then you got to have the steel and the cobalt to make the grow plots, and those are actually made. Part of those are made in a different. They're not made in your constructor. They're made in the food processor. And so there's like 3 different pieces of equipment to make. And even though, kind of back to what I was saying, is even though grow plots are not an overly complicated item, man, but I'm sorry, an overly expensive or valuable material. There are like an excessive amount of steps tied into making grow plots. And every time I want to craft something, the 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 plots are by far the most pain in the butt thing to do. I'm like, okay, now I got to do 180 of these things, and I spend an hour almost running around trying to stack these grow plots in there, so that way I can get it built. Anyways, I'm not complaining. It's just an assessment, okay? Just assessment. And so yeah, it's one of those things where so when I put this version back up on the store, I'm going to I'm going to swap out all the lasers. All the lasers need to go, and I'm also my original design concept was to have this as a ore bay, because I was going to have a space miner on here and it would pool into here. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to convert this over to another ammo, and I'm going to fragment the ammo type. So I'll have 2 ammo containers, because I'm not using this at all. This is not being used, and it's just one of those things, because I decided to put the multi-turret on the miner. I found that to be a much better kind of in-game, mid to in-game salvaging than having your ship do it. And I prefer to keep my ship off-site and then fly over there with a miner and just use the miner and its cargo. And I've never run into any issues with like cargo capacity or any of that stuff. So this is going to get swapped out to be a. This is going to get swapped out to be. In fact, I'll do that right now that I'm thinking about it. I'm going to craft me a an ammo bay, and that'll double my ammo from 80 to 160 combined. And so this is wood, container controller, ammo right here. And then there, boom. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so where'd you go? Where did you go? Right there. And this will go back in here. This will go back in there. Okay. And I try to keep all my crafting stuff in one bay. Okay, so I'll pull this out of here. And I've done some pretty heavy work on I'm gonna match the theme on these two. I want the red in the front. I gotta flip this. There we go. I think I gotta. There we go. Right there. Boom. And then I gotta color it. I typically do these some of these devices that you interact with. I could do this a little bit of an orange color. Let's see what that, like an explosive orange, just to break it up. And then these over here will be, see, but that's too close. The color's too close on that palette. I need to figure out. I know sometimes you go green, like a dark green or something. Let me. I know what I figured out. Sometimes it's better to find something on the internet. You know, some kind of color that you like that's pre-done, because I have not had any luck messing with colors. Let's try that. It looks too dark. I don't know. That doesn't look right either. Go back to configure. I don't know why that looks so dark. Configure. That's better. That's better. So it's like Christmas green though. Configure. Maybe there we go. A little bit kind of more grayish. Oh, it changes as you edit it, so you can see it in play. I forgot about that. Let's do that. So I go configure. Like I gotta do this in such a way that I cancel it to where it's over in the bottom corner of the box. So configure, because now I can see it in this bottom corner, and now I can kind of tweak it. See, now it's kind of live. There you go. Look, there you go. There we go. I kind of want more of that like OD green, kind of lighten it up a little bit. Okay. Boom. There we go. There we go. I think that's better. That way it kind of looks like an ammo can. Oh, it auto changed this one too. So it went through and it just changed everything in the game. And so, yeah. And then now what I need to do is I need to rotate out the turrets on the side with the other two lasers. P with the lasers, and or I'm sorry, F4. Gonna go to constructor. I thought I had crafted. So I'm playing on a public server. So if you folks want to, join the public server and play with me and Sandman and the other guy, you're more than welcome to. I've actually been preferring that experience much more. And it's the vanilla. It's the vanilla server. Oh, here's a fuel tank right here. Did I fill this up already? Let me see. P. No, I did not. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull. So each one of these. Let me see. Each one of these is total count, total capacity. I think I got to go to P to figure this out. I think it's 2,700 device, right? 2,700. Okay. So if I had two of those, would be 54. Total of 54. So let's pull this, right? And then now we're going to rotate this around. I'm going to flip this. Can I flip? Are both these the same size? Okay. Wow, it's giving me the same visual on both sides. What if I rotate? I thought one side was a different color. Or a different, no, they're the same. Huh. Could have sworn they had a different visual appearance. There we go. I always try to make sure I place these. There we go. So these now, and I got to pick this up. Hit F4. Okay, F4. Actually, I always try to put my completed stuff in a different hanger. So that way, here, F4, put this in there. Boom. Okay. So now if I go to P, I think this is 6. Yeah, 6. So I pick up an extra 600 capacity off of this one tank, and I need to do really ultimately I need to go through here and do this on a bunch of these, and so what I might do is I might put a solid one here and then an air, and then a solid one here and then an air, and I don't know, maybe 2 solid ones here, and 2 solid one here's, and then put the air, just line the airs up around the top. But it's one of those things where you just kind of continue to refine. So let me get back here, and I want to save this on the shop. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it in game first. So right here, I think. Okay, that's a projectile. So these go together. I thought I had lasers. Okay, where are you at? Laser. Okay. So link, and then link. Where are you at? Right there. Okay. And I need to make 2 more. And because we'll get into the ammo type 2 here. So the thing is this laser, okay, is this right here. And really it's 2 separate guns. But it uses this canister right here. It uses the LS charge. And then when you click on this, it uses a stereum Pandaxid. It uses which is I gotta click the right tab, which is this squared stuff right here, right? So this comes extremely easy from space, and it says here I only got 10, but I really probably got closer to 3 or 4 in some of the other vessels, because we were just hitting that stuff nonstop last night. So it's much easier, because if I do 30 millimeter shells, where are you at? I need weapons, and then the 30 millimeter shells, you nitroglycerin or nitro white, which is right here, And really, this comes from plant fibers. And you can't get plant fibers in space unless you're growing it. And so it's one of those things that forces me to go to a planet in order to. And when you look at the damage, the projectiles do 550, when the lasers do 1,000. So as you progress off the planet and you get deeper into the space experience, you will find, even though I personally like the kinetic feel of the 30 millimeter guns, I really feel like they've worked them out nicely. You get a lot of good feedback. You don't get the same feedback on these laser turrets, and it's just one of those things where it's that's not it. Where'd you go? Oh, here it is. It's just one of those things where ultimately, uh, okay, last one. So I'll dig the other ones out and then put these in there. So I have this thing will be totally everything will be lasered up except for the rockets, because magnesium is easy to get in space. It's not like the shells that you need for. See, my volume increased, so I'm a lower percentage, not because um, not because I burned it in the last second. It's because of just the sheer. You can see I just ate through like 70 fuel. This thing. Oh, total capacity 330,000. Wow. But you can see it just burned through, like, that's expensive. And by far my biggest challenge has been crafting the F4 is getting enough water concentrate. Man, I have just been struggling with the water concentrate, trying to keep it going. I just between the nitrogen tanks and the hit T. Okay, let's pull these others off here, because once I swap this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a save. But the problem is that save is going to be red, and it will not let you spawn it in because of the plants. You have to remove the plants, and that's why they don't spawn in. I've noticed that there's two versions. Watch, if I hit F2 to spawn stuff in, you'll see that some of them are orange. Let's go to see. Some are orange, and then some are red. And the reason why they're red is because they have plants in them. For whatever reason, it will not let you spawn in um, CVs that already have plants in the planters. If you go into creation mode and you spawn them in, you'll have a bunch of grow plots with plants in them. And the reason why these are yellow is because they exceed the server status for the number of guns. Usually it's a block restriction or a gun restriction. So that's kind of one of those things where when I pull this out, I'll show you also. This also has the capability for more cargo space. I could put more fuel cells in here. I've pre-colored this to where the yellow is the center line, so that way it's easy to keep track of the center of the ship. Right here's the center vertically, and then or horizontally, and then here's the center vertically, and then the red is where you're going to punch two thrusters in. Because if I just colored all of this, you would not. It would be really challenging to find the center of stuff. You'd be placing your thrusters all out of sequence and line, and they'd be all staggered out. I'm going to go back over here, hit T. And I was kind of playing with the idea. So this is what's interesting is on your lasers, there's actually two different laser types in here, and I like how they've done this. So what I've been doing is it doesn't matter, but I've been placing. Make sure is that flush? Yeah, it's flush. And I've been really toying with the idea of putting another laser here in the center, and kind of moving the name and getting it to where this is the darker one, right? There we go. The lights look cool too. I'm digging the lights. So this has got this. That one's got that. And then yeah, and so and I have the hard hitting lasers. These are basically like artillery cannons in the front. And I've been using them to kill POIs, and I didn't realize how powerful they were because they do 14k damage, and it killed everything inside the POI. It was almost made the POI to where it was like non-salvageable because everything inside of it was blown up. And um, yeah, so I'm finding that they have their role, and so I like the hard hitters on the top, and I like these kind of smaller hitters uh, on the bottom. Just to kind of manage the crowd control or drones or any of that stuff. But I've kind of got like a rear defense is the 2 in the back, and then the 6 in the front are more of like an offensive attack. If you think about it in that context. Let me rotate this. There we go. And then hit T. I got one more to do. And strictly being like the main role of this. There we go. Fix that. Is because of the ammunition composition in space. And so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call this the L3. I'm gonna keep it the tier 3. And because this thing is so well engineered, I'm not giving myself kudos here, but because this thing is so well engineered, it has the capability to just continue to scale. See, watch when I hit P. Look at my CPU. I just crested 80. I still have another, like that's just a little over halfway. I still have so much more room to grow on this, and I kind of don't need to. I mean, a little odds and ends here, there, maybe another turret in the middle. Something, but for the most part, it's it's other things that I want to make. This just gets me around. There's some more thrusters. I'm going to add another 6 thrusters, and that's it. And those are going to be okay. Did I pull? Hold on. Did I pull by any chance? Did I pull something out? For a second there, I thought maybe I pulled. I always rotate these. I don't know if it makes a difference because I want the backs. The backs are kind of primarily kind of like your rear defense. You get attacked by some drones, and there we go. Boop. Perfect. You get attacked by some drones, and you need a little rear defense. Perfect. So now this is there's one thing in here I need to fix, and I've been kind of struggling with fix it because my buddy, he was mining and he clipped my ship, and we fixed the front, but there's a one block here that we cannot get to go in there, and so I think I'm gonna have to do a space repair to get that fixed. And then once I get that space repair done, it'll be so I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go Alt O, right, and then I think I'm gonna save as L for lasers, right, and then 3 because it's the third adaptation of this, and and I've explained kind of some of the logic behind a lot of this because it kind of gets you to why I went to lasers. Not only do lasers do more damage, but it's about the fuel consumption in space. All right. As always, thanks for watching. Feedback is always welcome. I realize that some of my videos are, I'm not trying to do the video editing, and I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. I'm really trying to kind of share and information and change perspective. Share information and change perspective. So as always, thanks for watching.